All right, let's dive into the crazy high-stakes race for self-driving cars. For what feels like forever, every car company had its own unique, secret plan. But something has shifted. All of a sudden, the entire industry seems to be rowing in the exact same direction, and it's a direction that was mapped out almost a decade ago. So check out this quote from analyst Philippe Farragut. He calls the big tech show, CES, a validation chamber. So what does that even mean? Well, he's basically saying that for years, other car companies were trying to prove Tesla's vision-only, AI approach was wrong. Now, they're all scrambling to copy it. They're not innovating, they're validating. In his mind, the debate is over. The recipe is out. And that right there, that is the huge mystery we're unpacking today. If everybody suddenly has the cookbook, why is there this massive 10-plus year gap between the head chef and everyone else in the kitchen? The answer, it turns out, shows you the difference between knowing the recipe and actually knowing how to cook. To get to the bottom of this, we have to talk about the company at the absolute center of it all, Nvidia. You can think of them as the ultimate arms dealer for self-driving cars. See, they're not building the cars themselves. Oh no, they're selling the picks and shovels, the critical hardware and software that everyone else is desperately trying to buy. It's an absolutely brilliant place to be. And I mean everyone. The old guard, the big legacy automakers, the new EV startups, pretty much anybody who wants to build a self-driving car is knocking on Nvidia's door. They're all trying to buy the powerful silicon brain that they hope will make their dreams a reality. Okay, so let's geek out for a second. If you just look at the raw numbers, Nvidia's new Drive Thor chip is an absolute beast. I mean, the AI performance numbers, these tops and T-flops, they're just off the charts. But look closer. Tesla made a really interesting choice with their hardware. They focused on something called memory bandwidth. Now think of bandwidth as the number of lanes on a highway. Tesla knew their vision-only system would be gulping down insane amounts of video data from all its cameras, so they built a super wide data highway. It wasn't just about raw horsepower, it was about avoiding a massive data traffic jam. But here's the real kicker. Nvidia isn't just selling a chip, they're selling the brain to go with it. Their new Alpha Mayo platform is basically a stamp of approval on Tesla's entire software philosophy. It's all about these end-to-end neural networks, getting rid of millions of lines of old, clunky code. So Nvidia is offering a complete package deal, the supercomputer and the foundational AI to run on it. It's a self-driving car kit, all ready to go. Okay, so wait a minute. If car companies can just go out and buy the best chip and the best AI models from Nvidia, then what's the problem? Why aren't we all riding in self-driving Fords and GMs tomorrow? Well, this brings us right to the heart of the matter, the cook's dilemma. And this quote just nails it. Nvidia can sell you a beautiful, state-of-the-art kitchen. We're talking the best oven, the sharpest knives, the finest ingredients money can buy. But the car company, the OEM, they still have to be the chef. They're the ones who actually have to cook the meal. And as we're about to see, that is the incredibly hard part. And this cooking is a monumental challenge. First, just on a technical level, you have to somehow integrate Nvidia's futuristic brain into a car body that was designed on decades-old electronics. That's a nightmare. Second, you need a total culture shift. These are hardware companies that have to learn to think like software companies. You have to change the company's DNA. And maybe biggest of all is the data deficit. These AI models are starving for real-world driving data to learn from, and these companies are starting from basically zero. And this is where we get to Tesla's advantage. And it's not just a head start. It's a deep, structural, almost unfair advantage that's been built up over an entire decade. It's what people call a data moat. This is the number that should really keep executives in the auto industry up at night. 12. That's the estimated number of years that legacy automakers are lagging behind Tesla. Now, let's put that number in perspective, because this timeline is just wild. Back in 2016, Tesla started putting its Hardware 2 computer in every car it sold, and they started collecting billions and billions of miles of real-world driving data. The competition? They're aiming for 2028, 12 years later, to finally deploy hardware that's about as good as what Tesla had in 2016. By then, Tesla will have over a decade of data and learning under its belt. It's a massive gap. And here's why that gap is so incredibly hard to close. Tesla isn't really a car company, it's a Silicon Valley tech company that happens to make cars. They control everything, the chip design, the software, all of it. They can push huge software updates to their entire fleet of cars overnight, just like an iPhone update. And most importantly, their fleet with over 1 million paying FSD customers is a gigantic, real-world AI training machine that is running 24/7. You just can't buy that advantage. So, what's the big takeaway here? At the end of the day, this race isn't about who can build the most powerful computer chip anymore. It's become a software and a data problem, and that is a whole different ballgame. Elon Musk actually summed up the challenge perfectly himself. He said that with today's AI, getting a car to drive correctly 99% of the time is the easy part. The real soul-crushing challenge, the final frontier of this whole thing, is that last 1%. So what is that 1%? It's what's called the long tail. It's all the weird, unpredictable, chaotic stuff that happens on the road. A mattress falling off a truck, a flock of geese crossing the road, a deer jumping out at dusk. These are the infinite rare events that confuse AI. And solving for those, that takes an unbelievable amount of data. This is where Tesla's giant fleet gives them a compounding advantage that gets bigger every single day. So this leaves us with this final, really provocative question. Nvidia has made the tools available to everyone. The kitchen is officially open for business. But what if the problem isn't about the tools at all? What if the problem is organizational? Is it possible that the entire structure of a traditional car company with 100 years of history focused on manufacturing and hardware is just the wrong way to build the fast-moving, data-hungry AI company you need to solve self-driving? That's the billion-dollar question that the entire industry is wrestling with right now.